first thing they do, which I think is unfair, they buy your factory. That's the first thing they do.
Okay, we're live. What's up, everybody? Hope everyone's having a great day, amazing week. Welcome back to the Business and Banter podcast, of course. The best business podcast on the internet.
Back at it.
Some may say.
Again.
We definitely would. I've got a bit of a cold, so you're going to have to bear with me today, but we've got Craig here anyway. I'm sure he'll take over. He'll lead the way. He'll do most of the talking today. All right, shall we get straight into it?
Yeah, let's jump straight into it. I think on the sheet there, I put 2 points, but I'm going to combine them. I was going to talk more about Uber on its own, and I was also going to talk about Amazon, but I'm going to sort of like combine them because it's the concept that I'm trying to explore is it's sort of like happening on both sides. I was looking at Uber a couple of weeks ago in terms of how they have taken over the delivery game and how they've gone about it. And 2 weeks ago, my question was going to be, with the exception of Domino's, is there anybody that's actually running their delivery app so efficient that they can compete with Uber? But here's what happened. That question would have been perfect for 2 weeks ago, because I thought 2 weeks ago Domino's was the only one that was running all their deliveries via their own app, and they've raving reviews from almost everywhere that their delivery service is amazing. Right. I think they probably have one of the best delivery service in the food
I think
game.
So. Right, yeah.
But something happened recently there where Domino's announced that I think they're gonna collaborate with Uber, which I didn't see coming. So they're gonna jump on the platform too. Yeah. So they're gonna collaborate with Uber. I think they're starting in the States, and then they'll, jump overseas and stuff. But I don't know what you think about that.
First question: What benefit do you think that has for Domino's? Because if they already have the delivery down to a T, why partner up with someone like Uber Eats or whatever?
I think because they realize Uber have more customers on their platform that they'll take from. I think Domino's will take more customers off the Uber platform than what Uber would take from Domino's, because nobody eats a pizza every day, in my opinion. You know what I mean? Like, you're bound to order some Chinese, Indian food, jerk chicken and stuff. And you do that on Uber. And then if Domino's jumped on that platform, of course, they're going to give it, they're going to lose some of their customers because they're going to be exposed to being on Uber. But here's the thing. The customers they already have, they are not leaving. They're not giving Uber their customers. Do you know what I mean? They're still going to do business on their app.
Okay, but also to be on Uber.
But they're also going to be available on Uber. So those who are on Uber will get to see Domino's, which means they'll be like, oh, you know what? I haven't thought about that. Maybe I should like order some Dominoes.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
my point with that is like um in my mastermind, there's a guy who runs like a burger joint, and he does, I think, if I'm not mistaken, he said he does 80 to 90% of his sales comes from like delivery service, Just
Mm.
Eat, Uber, Deliveroo, like DoorDash, whatever that is.
Right.
Like it's a 80-90% comes from that.
Mm-hmm.
And I think the past couple years, like everybody have tried to build to sort of like you're building, but you're trying to move away from those type of services where you build your business on Uber or Just Eat, and you do the same kind of thing. And the idea for people is like, when it's grown, I need these customers to be my customer. So at the same time, you're trying to do your marketing to try and get these customers direct. And my question to you is, do you not think we are spending more time trying to move away from, let's say, Uber, that we take the eyes off the ball, or move away from Just Eat or any of these delivery companies, that we actually take our eyes off the ball, instead of like companies that have gone there? Like there's a few companies I was reading about, they started on Uber, not yeah, like on Uber or Just Eat, as like ghost kitchens and like virtual kitchens, and they've gone on to become like really big businesses.
Right.
Do you not think it's a good idea for people to be 100% committed to be as big as you can be on Uber and Just Eat and
Mm-hmm.
Deliveroo?
Mm-hmm.
That like your plan should be, I'm gonna be as big as I can be, just here. Yeah, of course you can always collect your emails, your phone numbers, and still do marketing for people to come direct to you. But I think people have to get used to the idea of paying 30% or whatever that is to Uber.
Right.
You know, because for like, I don't know what you think about that.
Yeah, I think I think mostly I think you're correct there. I think I have to agree with you. I have a friend of mine owns a a chain of like smash burger restaurants, and he says that pretty much each one of his, excuse me, each location that he has, he says probably about 60 to 70% of his orders are via delivery. So much
Mm-hmm.
so that he was actually thinking, when he had his first store, he actually said, "Oh, I'm thinking of closing this first store because people don't walk in anymore,
Yeah,
and just having ghost kitchens all around the country because that's kind of the better way of doing it." And I think the delivery model, even though they take the 30%, I think the number of the amount of customers they bring to you is
yeah,
just under. I think we've like you said, I think we've moved away from having like loyalties to a single like a single company and saying, "Oh, I want a pizza, let's go to Domino's." I think people will hop onto like a Deliveroo or a Just Eat or a Uber Eats and just say, "I'm feeling. Oh, I don't know what I want to eat today. Oh, maybe pizza's an option. Oh, from that list, Domino's on there or whatever's on there, whatever's on there. Oh, what's got the best deal? Oh, Tuesday for Tuesdays is on this. You know what? Let me just get something to eat. It just happens to be pizza, and it's on the app. And I think these companies spend you know billions in research to know how to win a customer, what kind of deals to send them, what the best time is to send them. When you're Domino's, I imagine you do that, but you don't have the resources, maybe the time. You've got to run a company. You've got to be the best pizza makers. You have to make sure everything's top notch.
Yeah. You
Whereas,
also have to compete with other pizza makers on making the
exactly,
pizza. Mm.
exactly. Whereas Uber Eats can say, we're going to focus on this. We're going to use as much data as we can to figure out, okay, this customer around 6 o'clock is the best time that they order something to eat. We're going to send them this deal for pizza every Tuesday because then we know that's what they like at about, at 5:30. So then just before 6 o'clock, they get their own notification. They know, no, these kind of things. This is what it's almost better to let the experts be the experts, and you just take a piece of that pie. I mean, you saw during the pandemic, um, here in the UK at least, McDonald's is on went on to the delivery apps. They weren't on before that. I don't know if you know. McDonald's would refuse.
Mm.
McDonald's would refuse to be on any of the delivery apps. Now over here in the
Yeah.
UK, they're on Uber and Just Eat. I think they started off on Just Eat at first, and then
Yeah.
they're on and now Uber and Just Eat. And they would refuse for a long time. They'd refuse to go on the apps, but at the end of the day, you,
Yeah.
you can't beat it, right? You can't beat it.
No,
So yeah,
yeah, you can't.
I think it's pretty. The pull that these app. I really think like humans in general, we've moved to a place where we trust marketplaces more than we trust like individual stores. You see, we like going to Amazon. We like going to even places like YouTube, where or Netflix, where I'm going to a marketplace that has got that's full of different content or full of different
Yeah.
things. Then from there I can pick. So the loyalties are no longer to the company. Our loyalties are now to the
Hmm.
marketplace itself. Or I shop on Amazon. Now I pick this. Oh, I watch on Netflix. Now I pick this. Oh, I watch on YouTube. Now I pick this. Oh, I use Deliveroo, and then I pick what I want to eat. And I think that way of thinking, that model that these companies have put in place, have really helped customers to kind of get the best deal. And I think it helps companies get the customers as well. So it's probably a really smart move. I've been intrigued to see what the deal is like between the two of them. I wonder if
Yeah.
Domino's
Because I
exclusively on
think,
Uber.
yeah, I think from because it's only gonna start in the States. I think from what Domino's have looked at is they are renowned for good customer service when it comes to delivery, and I think they will be trying to protect that. And
Right.
the way they're planning to protect that is, I think they to start with they want to be available on Uber, but I think I might be wrong here. I think they're collaborating with another like smaller or another delivery company, or either they're gonna do an acquisition or something like that, where they will still be controlling the delivery drivers. So people will purchase on uh, Uber, and then the delivery will be done by Domino's.
All right. Okay.
I think that's the way, sort of like the white paper kind of looked when you read through it. That they
All
seem
right.
to wanna protect the thing they are known for, which is good delivery service. You know, so I think if they do that, then they can still be known for like things are delivered the best way, and they can still have that competitive advantage
Yeah.
to themselves, and
I,
probably
I,
the deal won't be the same as everybody else's deal.
yeah. I don't think so. But I think it does open up
Yeah,
something because if you, especially, I know I don't know if Just Eat's available outside the UK, but obviously we have Just Eat. It's quite big in here. Um, I know if you run a company in the UK and you want to deliver on Just Eat, you can pick whether you want um, them to use your own drivers, or you can use like the apps drivers. So they'll have like how Uber people can just deliver on Uber. They'll have that, but also an
yeah,
option for like instead of paying 30%, let's say you pay 15, but you use your own drivers, or you pay 10% and use your own drivers, and that's like a model that's been available on Just Eat for quite a while. I think, like you were saying, our mutual friend from your mastermind is the one who told me this. I
Yeah.
think he said he's been running. For, excuse me. I think he said he's been running, a few shops for quite a few years, and he was saying that for most of them, he actually uses his own drivers, and he finds it cheaper than paying the 30% to get Just Eat drivers to come in, pick up the order, and that kind of thing. He can get
Yeah.
like good customer service and pay less of a percentage to the company, and has his own drivers who are sitting into the store because they're busy enough to actually go deliver, even though the customers are finding the shop via Just Eat. So this might be something where if it works with Domino's, that might open up. Uber's probably seen this, like especially in the UK, and they said, okay, they've got something like this in place. If this works with Domino's, they might open it up to other shops, and it's probably going to be like a win-win for both companies, really.
Yeah. Because they have, like, I think when you look at the delivery companies, you know, I think when they when they got into McDonald's, I think at that point I was like, oh, okay, they're winning.
Yeah,
Yeah, because when they go into McDonald's, that was it. Because you can tell. I think when you read a bit, especially when they did like first roll it out. I think McDonald's priority was the the people coming through the car, like the drive-through, because they want to do
right.
that quick. And then the second priority was inside the shop, because of course they're not spending for drivers, they're not spending for it's like. But I think now the delivery for delivery service was like maybe third on the list, or fourth after the people that come in to collect themselves. But I
Right.
think now it's pretty much a priority for them, because if you see a lot of McDonald's and like Pizza Hut and like Burger King, they now have a section, like a different door for delivery drivers. So it's like a totally different section, which is
Right.
they've all sort of like open up to make sure the service that side is going quick. So
Yeah.
it's only a matter of time that, you know, going into the restaurant to get food, either it won't be as convenient. You get there and the service takes longer, it's not as
Yeah.
quick. But even though we might not see it straight away, but I think within McDonald's itself, before the pandemic, delivering, like the delivery apps, McDonald's sort of frowned upon that. And I think the tables will turn to a point where going to McDonald's or going to Burger King or any fast food chain, going inside the shop will start being frowned upon, where the service will not be as good.
Yep.
That ultimately every McDonald's will end up being more like most of the Pizza Hut. There's more Pizza Hut that you can sit in.
Right.
Do you know what I mean? A lot of
Yeah. I
Pizza
think.
Hut we grew up looking at, now they're like a smaller one. It's just
Yeah.
takeaway.
Just delivery. Yeah. Literally.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think like you said, I think it'll be like a mixed model where I think in places like city centers, I think you'll
Yeah.
be able to go sit in the McDonald's because that's where people walk past and that's where footfall is big. But I think outside of that, I think you will just kind of see takeaway pods all over the place. And I think you'll start
Yes.
seeing some of the restaurants right now split and have like like a restaurant part of it that's inside, and like a whole new team, even not even a separate building that has deliveries, just deliveries. It will look like it's the same shop, but it might be like a different place to go just get deliveries cooked and sent out in a whole different place. And I think
Yeah.
it'll be fascinating
And
to
that's the
see
thing.
like how this works.
And the other one as well to think about is, like I say, you have the Amazon. And Amazon is doing exactly the same game. They came in the game and they decided, for whatever it costs, their plan is to take over the whole, the whole e-commerce game. And with them, they've a, sort of like a different type of models where it confuses people that buy, because most people that buys from Amazon do not actually realize that most of the things are sold on Amazon by third-party sellers.
Right.
Most people just think they're buying from Amazon. But
Mm-hmm.
I think I don't know what the percentage is, but on the platform, most of the products that are sold there, it's actually third-party sellers that are selling there. Because with sellers on Amazon, you can either do what they call arbitrage, which can be retail arbitrage, where people go into different shops and they'll find things on sale. They buy everything that's there, and then they send them to Amazon and through a module called FBA, which is fulfilled by Amazon. And when they get to Amazon, they sell them for their retail price, if not more, usually more, because
Right.
now they're taking advantage of the Prime, where people can buy now and get it tomorrow. Sometimes can buy
Mm-hmm.
the same day and get it the same day, depend on your region and the location of that product. And then there's also online arbitrage, which is people buy these things online. So people will scrape the internet to try and use coupon codes, chasing discounts, and then they'll get those things sent to Amazon. And then they'll sell through that way again. There's also like a private label where people will try and like find a winning product, whether they find it on TikTok or they look at what's selling on other platforms, on Etsy, or they check Pinterest. Then when they find those winning products, they they find a supplier, whether it's in China, Turkey, Taiwan, it doesn't matter, whatever the
Mm-hmm.
product, and they find a supplier, they get samples, they because it's a white label, these products, they put their own
Right.
brand onto it. Some good ones would do some tweaks to the product to differentiate from the market, or add up like something to differentiate it, and then they'll sell that on Amazon. There's also
Right.
wholesale, where you can
Mm-hmm.
buy from a supplier, you buy in bulk, and then you send it to Amazon. You sell it that way, depending on the size of the supplier. If the supplier is a renowned brand, you might need to be ungated on Amazon. By ungated means not every seller is allowed to sell every product. So, for example, if you want to sell Nike, you can't just go there and start selling it. You need
Right.
to be authorized to sell Nike. And then
By
if you're
Amazon or by the
new,
company themselves.
by the company themselves.
Okay.
That there's two ways. There's you being authorized by the company themselves, and then there's
Mm-hmm.
also when you're starting your account, you're actually gated to only sell sometimes in certain categories. So for you to be ungated in those other categories, that's Amazon. So Amazon might say your account cannot sell in toys, so you can only
I
sell in
see.
other departments. And you can apply to Amazon, but if your account is new, it's not going to happen. You just
Mm.
have to show Amazon that you're a good seller, and your account has to be professional, because there's a difference. You can sell on Amazon without a professional account. You can sell with just a private account, but
All
for
right. Okay.
everything you sell, yeah, for everything you sell, they take like a pound, I think, £1, or 99 cents, whatever that is,
Mm.
as a fee for selling that product. That's on top of the fees that Amazon charges and everything.
Right.
But if you sell more than 30 products or 40 products, depends. In America, it's $39.99. In UK, it's like £30. It's $29.99. So if you sell more than 30 products in UK, you're better off having a professional account.
Right.
Because now, if you sell 31 products, it means you are paying £1 more than you need to. You might as well just have a professional account, where by having a professional account, your fees gets lower. You get like different perks from Amazon.
Right.
So where I'm going with this is Amazon have done such a good job that they brought people on their platform and allowed them to go find anything that can sell on their platform. But here's how brutal Amazon is. If you go find a product and it's so unique and it's doing so well, Amazon have all the intel on how many you're selling, how quick it's selling, what's your profit margins. They know all that. Guess what? There is what they call Amazon Basics, which is like the cheap brand for Amazon. And Amazon Basics goes on everything. That's them taking a white label and put their brand on it.
There. Okay.
So they'll go to the same supplier that you are using in China or Turkey, whatever it is, and they'll buy from there and they'll put Amazon Basics on it. And then they'll come, if you're selling something for £20, they'll come on the platform and they'll sell the same product as yours for £15. And they'll still make more money than you. Because when they're buying it from that supplier, they'll buy way more than you can, so they'll get a better deal. And then they're not paying like the same fees as you are paying for delivery and storage. Do you know what I mean? So all that kind of plays. So that's the only brutal side with Amazon. That if your product, it's so generic, they can jump on it. And then if you want to really compete with them, they'll buy your supplier. I've read about this loads of times. Yeah, they'll buy your supplier. You know what I mean? So I've seen like loads of people on Reddit sort of like going through what happened to them, where they found the product, it's doing so well, and Amazon come through and they'll start. And even if they don't buy your supplier, if they sell the same product as you, they'll drive traffic to themselves.
Yeah.
And nothing to you. You know what I mean? But here's the thing. I still think if you want to build a brand and it's something on the market, but you're going to do some tweaks, even a new thing, I think Amazon is a good launching pad for anybody, because already there have been hundreds and if not thousands of brands that have been built on Amazon that have gone on to make hundreds of millions per year. You know what I mean? Or tens of millions per year. For example, I think you know AJ Patel. He started Insta Natural.
Right.
You can Google it. You can Google the company Insta Natural. That started on Amazon. It does tens of millions. You know what I mean? The same with Anchor. They still, yeah. Of course, they'll have a Shopify or something on there. Yeah. So they started on, I think 2014. I think they started on. I remember reading their case study at some point, and they started on Amazon. Even Anchor. Let me search Anchor. The phone chargers and stuff like that.
Oh, I think I've got a few of I think my daughter's bought some.
Yeah. Like they are the biggest. They started with power banks, if you remember back in the day.
All right.
They started with power banks, and they grew into all the electronics and stuff like that. and the guy who started it, Stephen Young, he started the whole thing on Amazon.
That's
Like built it
crazy.
on Amazon. It grew on Amazon.
You know what's funny? If you search Anchor
Yeah,
on Google, the first
yeah.
the
What
first
comes up?
thing
Let me
that
see.
came up is the Amazon link, and then you've got their own link, but they're
And
actually
then you got the
advertising to be top. I don't know if it's the same
yeah.
on
They will have to
yours,
compare.
but on mine,
Yeah, yeah,
Amazon's the top one, and they're advertising themselves to go above Amazon on the
yeah.
Google ranking, which
It
is
will go up,
crazy.
yeah. So they're on top of Amazon by ad. So
Mm.
on organic
Amazon
clicks,
is top.
Amazon is the top.
That's
Yeah,
insane.
and
Insane
they started. Yeah, they started
on Amazon.
on Amazon, and that's just
Okay.
a few brands. Loads of brands have started on Amazon, and they've grown into really big brands. And
Mm.
in some cases, Amazon will buy you. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Hmm.
So I think sometimes it's probably important to actually put more effort in just not focus on not being on Uber or not being on Amazon, but to actually
Mm.
build to
Double down on that.
double down on what you're doing. Remember, we were
Mm.
talking. We can't say the name of the restaurant that we know
Right.
in Wolverhampton. There, it
Hmm.
it was running for the past maybe 5 6 months
Yeah.
inside
Yeah.
another restaurant.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know what I mean? Yeah, it
Yeah.
was
Yeah.
running inside another restaurant, found traction on Uber, Just Eat, Deliveroo, and now they have their own joint. And guess what?
Mm.
Their new joint is busier than the joint they started in.
Yeah. It's just crazy,
You know what
right?
I mean?
Smart
Yeah,
business move, by the way.
that's smart. And
Very
I
smart.
think if you are into food, which I'm not, I will never start a food business. I'm not really, it's tough.
Hmm.
The margins are very small too. Like you have to be really like I'm talking like food, like like
Like
the
food.
dinner kind of stuff.
Yeah.
I'm not
Yeah.
talking
Yeah. Yeah.
the desserts or like the dinner bit. The margins
Yeah.
like they are very very you can't sleep on it.
Yeah.
But
It's
I
tough.
think if you are like a person in food, I honestly think you have to jump into the virtual kitchens or dark kitchens, whatever you call them, wherever you are.
Hmm.
I think there's an opportunity there for people. You could be making some African dish, some jerk chicken, some Indian curry, some Chinese food, you know, maybe no fish and chips. I don't think that. I don't think. Do you think
Down the
fish and
way.
chips could work in a dark kitchen? I don't think so.
I think there's like a
I don't think
nostalgia
so
around it. People
because
like going into a chip shop, right? I think
exactly
the clientele prefer to go inside. That's why.
if they prefer
But
going there.
only for a matter of time. It's only a matter of
Yeah,
time it's until you can.
but you have to build a brand that people actually be like, I'm buying that fish and chips on Uber because they're so good.
Oh, right. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Do you
Yeah.
know what I
Yeah.
mean? In most
Yeah. It's a
cases,
tough one.
you want to buy because most people when they eat their fish and chips, it's usually
Mm.
the one they've eaten since they were kids. You know what I mean? It's like
Yeah.
the one
Yeah.
that they know, and
Yeah.
they'll
Hmm.
move to a different location, which is maybe 5 miles away. They'll still come back to this
Still
fish
drive
and
down.
chips.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. They
because
will.
that's the one they know. But I think, people can start businesses in food either by having ghost kitchens and spin different menus. Like I'm talking like you'll be like it'd be like maybe a partnership of you and four guys who likes cooking and you
Hmm.
figure out how to make one Mexican dish, one Jamaican dish, one
Mm.
Indian dish, and then you
Mm.
run that as like 5 6 brands coming out of the same kitchen
Yeah.
but different. Do you know what I mean? And then whatever is winning, you double down on that.
Yeah,
Do you know what I mean?
yeah.
Because, or you can just go and get a license. Like what do you call it? Whatever license you need to cook, because people are cooking in their houses and sell on Uber
Yeah,
right now.
absolutely.
Yeah,
Absolutely. I've
all
seen
you
that.
need
I've
is
seen.
like you get the license to,
Mm-hmm.
and off you go.
Yeah, you
So
see
those
people
who can
in
cook,
the garages.
yeah,
Yeah, I was saying, you
yeah,
see people
people
in their
are,
garages preparing food and giving it to drivers and stuff. It's crazy.
yeah. So that's the thing where I think there's, when it comes to Uber and Amazon, I think people gonna have to accept. I've heard recently, I think in the States there's a bit of some talk about it. I think they're trying to break to break Amazon, to break it up,
Oh, really?
like to break it up into pieces, because they say they have an unfair advantage in monopoly in some of these things. So they are trying to. I think the first thing they want to, but it's not good for. I think it's not good for people who have businesses,
All right.
because if, for example, if they break up Amazon delivery
Mm,
and the Amazon e-commerce,
mm,
here's what's going to happen. The Amazon delivery is going to want to make profit. At the moment, it doesn't really make money from that side
all right.
that much. So it's going to want to make profit. So they're going to put the prices up.
Mm,
So as consumers, our Prime membership will go up
mm-hmm.
because they want to make money. But at the
Yeah, of
moment, they
course.
don't really make as much money as they could, because they're
Mm-hmm.
focused on dominating that sort of like sector and take it
All
all.
right.
So if they break it up and the Amazon delivery is a standalone, it's on its own,
Mm-hmm.
they're gonna be like, you know what, this Prime membership is not making us money. We wanna put it
Yeah.
up. You know what I mean? And then they're probably gonna say a Prime membership is for 2-day delivery. If you want the 1-day delivery, you have to upgrade to like a Prime Pro,
Prime Plus or whatever. Yeah, 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 yeah,
something
yeah,
like
yeah.
that. So
Mm-hmm.
I think sometimes with these things, um, with governments as well, I think there's monopolies they allow to go ahead, and there's monopolies they jump on, and they're like, nope,
Yeah.
you can't have that monopoly, and you've
Yeah.
seen that over the time.
Yeah. I think they pick and choose the one who's working alongside them. Kind of the one
Yeah,
who's the one who are greasing the government's hands get away with a lot more. But
yeah.
it's mad because you see that Amazon, see that Amazon Prime membership. I think is by far like I'd say out of almost everything you can buy on the internet today. I think that is by far the most valuable thing you can buy for yourself.
Oh,
You see,
definitely.
you pay £79 a month here, a year. Sorry, here I don't know what it is in the US or whatever. You get
Mm.
uh, next day delivery on Amazon, which if you're anyone who's not hiding under a rock, use Amazon anyway. It just makes sense to have it. You get Prime Video, which is these days probably about as good as Netflix. You
Yeah,
get Prime, is it Amazon Music or whatever it's called? It's literally like the Spotify iTunes competitor, which I've never used, but I've heard
yeah,
it's really good. I know I listen to a couple of podcasts like Wondery and stuff, and they offer like their services ad free on Amazon Music, which
yeah,
means obviously that the Amazon are pumping some money into it.
yeah,
So though that's just three. That's before you get to like gaming. You get like
yeah.
a
Because they're on
Twitch
Twitch now.
Pro thing. Yeah, yeah, exactly. You get like a Twitch Pro thing where you can get like free gifts every single month and stuff like that. I think it's like if you imagine that you pay for Netflix, Spotify, and then you'd pay any other company however much to get next day delivery, and you're getting all of that for basically about maybe like £6 a month or whatever it is. If you spread it out over
Yeah,
the year, or £7-8 a month. I mean, it's That
Yeah,
Prime deal
it's
is like
nothing.
Amazon is an absolute genius company. I mean that I don't I think they're gonna try and break it up, but I think they'll realize that it's probably gonna cause the country itself more harm than good. So I don't think they will. I don't
Yeah,
think they're gonna be
and the thing
successful,
is,
even if
the
they do
thing
try.
with Amazon, they went on a good buying spree. They bought loads of companies. Like, I think sometimes we underestimate how many companies they took. Do you know a company I was surprised they took on?
Mm.
Do you know? I think I have to search this. I might be wrong. You know, IMDb. Do you remember? Like, we used to go there to check if the movies are good or not.
Yeah, good at that. Yeah.
I think
Yeah,
Amazon on
they
that.
got that. Yeah, I think they do. I
You
think
know
they
what I
do.
mean? Like, quietly they just scooped that. They own that. I was like, whoa. You know what I mean? They took some loads of companies.
Yeah, it's crazy.
I'm searching
Audible. I know
here.
they
It's
own
saying,
Audible as well.
yeah, MGM Holding. Yeah, they're serious. Zappos.
Uh,
Wow. Whole
yeah,
Foods. Yeah,
yeah.
they took.
Morrison's here in the UK.
Yep, it's in there.
It's absolutely insane.
The- So I think
Absolutely
for me, when
insane.
it comes to Monopoly, I think it depends as well what business you're doing. Because do you
Mm.
remember there was a hair, I don't know, like a razor company that started, I think, in the States. You know, Harry's. Like, it's like, I think it's called
No, I don't.
Harry's. Like, it's called Harry's razor blades.
Okay.
They started it, and they grew it so good, like so quick, and
Mm.
they wanted. Of course, they were only gonna compete with Gillette. And
Right.
the reason why they went into that market is because Gillette had no competitors. So they decided, you know what, we're gonna
I
go in there, we're
see.
gonna innovate it and stuff like that. And the guys that started it, like, I think they ended up finding some company in Germany, in some old town, to manufacture the blades. And when they did
Oh wow.
that, the company that was doing it went out of business or something. So they ended up buying that company. And then when they bought the
Oh wow.
company, because the town was dead, and then now the town was thriving because they were employing loads of people. And I
Mm-hmm.
think they tried to buy another company to try and merge the two together.
Mm.
And they were stopped from doing it because they say it's like, what do you call it, anti whatever, to stop monopoly, you know what I
Right.
mean? and I, and there is me thinking, you are going against Gillette, you have to
Gillette.
do acquisitions to be able to
Absolutely.
compete with Gillette, so which means Gillette are pumping money into the government to say, stop
Yeah.
that from
Yeah.
happening, say
Mm-hmm.
stop that guy, you know what I mean? And there's
Controlling
loads
behind
of
the
those
scenes.
companies. There's loads of those
Absolutely.
companies that when you look at their figures, you'd be like, whoa, like
Mm-hmm.
that is ridiculous. I remember
There's
looking at,
monopolies out there.
there's some monopoly, like Unilever. If you ever look at what
Let's talk.
Unilever owns,
Yeah, let's talk. What about Coca Cola? Huh?
Coca-Cola,
Let's talk
yeah.
about monopolies. Oh, come on. Governments are all over the place, man.
Yeah,
Like
like
it's just a
they
game, right?
just
You have to
swallow
play, you know.
everything.
Absolutely,
Mm.
absolutely.
And that's the thing, where you kind of like come across these companies, you'll be like, whoa. You know what I mean? And some of them, like the amount of companies they own
They hold.
is
Oh,
ridiculous.
even what's his?
You
That's
know
the
what I
guy
mean?
who's the richest guy in the world right now. He owns all the luxury brands. But that
Oh
LVMH
yeah,
group. Have you seen?
yeah.
Have you seen? They Yeah, what's his name? The wolf in Kashmir. I forget. Bernardo, no. Have you seen how
Bernardo, yeah.
many Bernardo? Yeah. Have you seen how many of the luxury companies he owns? That LVMH.
All the good ones.
Yes.
Buy a few.
Literally. I was just like, this is not like he owns competitors.
Yeah,
Like who own like Louis Vuitton and like Dior or whatever, and you're like, well,
yeah.
aren't these like direct
Eh,
competitors? And yeah,
and they keep them.
but
Yeah, they keep
they come
them.
down
Yeah. Do you
separate.
know when you wanna see as well? If you wanna
Mm.
see Monopoly, look into the chocolate industry.
All right.
It's
I
crazy.
heard the banana one is similar as well.
Yeah, they just swallow each other. It's like they
Uh,
keep. It's like the same big ones buys
mm.
everybody small. If you wanna exit fast, Trevor,
Mm.
if you wanna exit fast and make your money very quick, you wanna be out there coming up with a chocolate bar, make it
Mm.
viral, you'll be bought. Make a drink,
All
make it
right.
viral,
Mm-hmm.
you'll be bought.
You'll be bought.
Do you know what I mean? They'll buy you. Or make soap. Like it could
Yeah,
be
yeah,
good for
yeah,
something. Just
yeah.
think about anything. There's no soap for people with partly bald headed. Make one for
Mm.
them and just
Yeah,
say
yeah,
this
yeah.
is for Unilever will buy you out.
Absolutely.
Because they
Absolutely. They'll
cannot
happily
afford. And
come.
sometimes, and when they buy these companies,
Mm.
what I notice people doing, these companies are bought, they take the parts out of them, and they die. And the same founders goes back in and buy the same companies back. And then they rebuild it, they
They
kind of like kick them back
okay.
again. Yeah, yeah, it happens all the
Yeah.
time. It happens in almost every industry. You know what I mean? Yeah, it
Yeah.
happens in every
I've
industry.
just found a diagram here on Google which has a few monopolies. Procter and
Yeah.
Gamble.
Oh
They
my
own
god,
all of
yeah,
that.
definitely.
They own all that whole.
They
They
own
got like
all the home goods.
Tampax,
Yeah.
Pantene. Yeah. All of that. Duracell as well. Apparently, wow. Okay, Johnson
Oh, I
and
didn't
Johnson.
realize it. Johnson is another one.
Another
Nestle.
one. Yeah.
Remember
Yeah,
Nestle?
Nestle's on there. Yeah,
Nestle
Nestle's on
owns
there.
a lot.
Yeah, they own loads. All of those like brands, basically, or everything you can think of, like Kit Kat, Aero, Smarties,
Yep.
Nestle own all of that. There's Kraft. They're the ones that own like
Yeah.
Cadbury's, Kenko, Toblerone, all of that. You got obviously you got Coca Cola and PepsiCo, which makes sense. You
Yeah.
got which one's this one? There's Kellogg's. They own all of the
Yeah. Kellogg's is big.
cereals.
Yeah.
Mars own all of the chocolate bars.
You see, like for anybody interested, if
Mm.
like follow the story of Mars, there's another one, Hershey. See Hershey, yeah, Hershey's, the
Mm.
chocolate
Yeah,
company.
yeah.
You
Uh-huh.
know, those guys, the way they were growing and just the way the cannibalism in those companies, crazy. They're out there like anybody that competes, they buy you out. The
uh,
first thing they do, which I think
uh,
is unfair, they buy your
mm.
factory. That's the first thing they do. Before they put an
Okay.
offer to you, what they do is
Mm.
they go and buy your factory. So if you don't own your own factory, they go out and
Mm.
they buy your factory. And then when they do that, then they say, here's the offer, Trevor, and your company. And then you'll be like, no, that's too low. And then they'll be like, okay. And then the next call you get is from your factory saying,
The
we are
factory.
now owned by. And then when you go back and you're like, that
Woo.
offer is no longer the same.
Yeah, of
That
course.
offer is lower because they now know
Mm-hmm.
you
You
have
need it.
you need it. Because when they buy
Business
you
is little
out,
game, man.
remember, when they buy the factory, they buy your contract too with the factory.
Mm.
You
Mm-hmm.
know what I mean? So they can hike
Mm-hmm.
your price up if they want. So they can be like, well,
And
the cost they've gone up.
it is tough. It's hard to compete at that level. I mean, there's only one topic I want to touch on actually today that I have a little bit of
Yeah.
research on. Was Temu Timu actually? Apparently, it's meant
Oh
to be called
yeah.
Timu. That's how you're meant to properly pronounce it. That's like for those who don't know, I don't know if you haven't. I'm pretty sure it's come across everyone's.
It's popped up on your phone at some point.
Definitely, it's like it's an e-commerce website that's grew bigger than
It's the
absolutely.
fastest growing.
It had. I found a chart. Let me just open it up here. This is. Oh no. Okay, I've got another one. Okay, here we go. Timu in May of 2022 had less than 5 million users, right? And
Yeah,
Shein is the clothing brand that's like their direct
yeah,
competitor. I think in May 2022 they had about 75 million users, and
yeah,
Shein grew from less than five. I think in no, Shein was more. Sorry, Shein had no zero million in May. That's when the company started properly. In September is
yeah,
when they had their big launch, and they
yeah.
got 5 million people in their first month,
Let's launch. Yeah,
and they've grown from September to the end of January 2023. They grew from 5 to 75 million, and took and that same month in January, Sheen's number dropped to 65 million. So it overtook Sheen and took some of their market cap in 4 months,
that is
which is
brutal.
like absolutely. I don't think I've ever seen anything like this. I think the strategy that they came out with. Here's the revenue number. Oh, okay, here's the exact numbers. So in October 2022, they had. This is number of users in the USA. In October 2022, they had 5.8 million users. In January 2023, they had 36.7 million users. By April 2023, they surpassed 104 million users. So in the span of 8 months, maybe they grew.
Yeah,
What was that? 5 to over 100. That's more like 50x. No, not 50. 10. No, 20x. 21x in terms of number of users using the platform, which is I've seen some
that
growth.
is
Like genuinely, I remember I go to there's a Jamaican food shop which is as where they are. They're always at the hood, and I went there the
yeah.
other day getting some patties and stuff for me and my family, and genuinely there was ladies standing outside saying, "Listen, just do me a favor, just download this Tembu app, just use my code." Because they know if someone gets added on their thing, these ladies are sitting outside like in the middle of the street, but they're outside the shop to say, "Oh, this is a new app. If you add me, you get this for free. You get £1 off. You get £5 off." And they had I mean, for those who haven't experienced Timu, it's basically my wife told me about it. Of course, I think they targeted women heavily. I think they had like online marketing. They targeted women
Yeah,
heavily, and then as soon as they got on the app, they have loads of different. They have games that you can play to win discounts. They have the introductory offers are like crazy. Like that you buy like 8 items and you get 5 of them for free. And I think they've basically, obviously because they're a Chinese owned company, they basically dropped the margins of. They basically said, listen, it takes us £2 to create this massage gun or whatever. You might Amazon is selling it for 40 pounds. We're gonna sell it to you for whatever covers us to deliver it to you, and maybe just £1 or two
yeah.
on top. And we're gonna push aggressively to get as many users as we can. And I mean, the growth in number of users has just shown for itself. It's an amazing, absolutely amazing marketing scheme. They basically had these ladies and guys say, okay, for every person that you bring onto the app, we'll give you £5 off, £10 off. If you get 5 people, you get £50 off. If you get 5 people, we'll send you three items for free. If you get 10 people, we'll get send you 5 items for free. And people have been spread. I've never received so many links to my phone to download an app ever in my life.
Yeah.
Genuinely never.
I think they were very good. They were very aggressive.
Aggressive, super aggressive.
They were
Like
very aggressive.
it's it's funny. My mum doesn't know how to play like games on these phones, really and truly.
Yeah.
But I saw her. She plays this farming game now, and I was speaking to her the other day. I was like, "What's this farming game that you're playing now?" And she's like, "Oh, basically, like I need energy to build my farm because I think if I sell like enough a wheat or whatever, I get like £10 off my next Temu order." And the way that she gets energy to do this farm thing is to get people to sign up. And I was just like, wow, this company is
It's good. They are
absolutely
good.
amazing.
I think they're genius. Like, to be honest, like their launch was so viral. Like Sheen was viral,
Yeah.
but this
But
was
this,
next level.
oh, it's crazy.
Yeah. And
It's
did you
crazy.
hear about Sheen? Sheen have stepped up now. Their next target is Amazon.
Oh,
They're
wow.
going to compete with Amazon. Here's what they're gonna do. I haven't got enough info on this. Like I think I saw something or a thread or something.
Right.
They're gonna allow third party sellers on their platform.
On their platform.
But here's the thing.
Wow.
But here's the interesting thing. These third party sellers are Chinese sellers.
Oh, wow.
So what
Oh,
they're gonna
wow.
do is they'll wipe the market in China, right? So all the sellers in China who are trying to sell in different ways and who are on AliExpress and all these other places, they're all gonna flock to Shein, and then they're gonna start to improve their catalog. So they're gonna start offering more and more and more things. Anything that can be made in China, they're gonna offer it
Offer there.
on Shein,
Wow.
which means it's almost everything. I think the probably the things you might not be really seeing there might be is edibles, things that can be
Yeah.
ingested. Because these guys don't want to deal with that regulation stuff. But you're
Yeah. I
gonna
think
see
that's
your
what that.
electronics, your clothing, your shoes, your like they just gonna dominate that because even like the way I don't know what happened. I was actually saying to my brother recently. I don't know what happened to no. I think I was talking to you about the deliveries from China. Was it you I
Oh,
was talking to?
yes. How the spell
About
out.
how
Yeah, it
quick
was me. It was me.
yeah. Like how quick things are coming from China. Like you see for
Something that
our
rough, though.
e-commerce brand. Yeah. For our e-commerce brand, I'll give you like the timeline. I spoke to my buyer for some of our things on the 18th. It was a night on the 18th of July, and I say to him like, these are the things I want. Like it was quite a long list, maybe 20 something things, like in different quantities and a couple samples I wanted.
Right.
He got those things sourced. Mind you, this is the 18th. He got those things sourced and posted by the 19th at 6 p.m. It says the stamp on FedEx. It says 1751. It says 1751. The label was printed by FedEx with the accurate weight.
Woof.
Right? Mind you, this is I think it was like a Thursday, and then my products were at what do they call it in UK? What's the name of the dogs? Like some name, I forgot the name, but they were in UK by the 22nd, which was a Saturday. So from Thursday, Saturday they were in UK, and then they had a delay because the 23rd was a Sunday. I received my products Monday morning.
Woo.
Trevor,
Something's.
I'm telling
I don't know
you,
what's happened, right?
something is happening.
Because
Because I know,
this Temu, this Temu,
yeah,
sorry, this Temu order. I don't. My wife made an order. She was telling me about it, and I was like, yeah, whatever, whatever. She made an order, and I think it came in like 3 or 4 days. And I was like, since when did the products from China come this quick? I thought it was a
they
fluke, but then when you told me this, I think that confirmed something's happening.
they are not playing because you see, um, when was it before COVID?
Mm.
Uh, in my previous life, I went to China a lot until COVID effed it up.
Yeah,
Um, Before COVID, I had a trip to China. I think maybe 4 5 months before COVID. And when I was there, I was talking to one of my sourcing agent, and he said to me, they were building, the rail line. I don't know how this gonna work or how this works. A rail line
Mm.
that connects from China to Europe, right? They were making it work. And at that
Right.
point, I thought, okay, that's amazing
Mm.
because that will cut off the like transport of like bulky things
Mm.
from China to Europe to maybe a week and a half, a week,
Mm.
just to get.
And we were happy with that
And I
timeline, right?
think
We
already,
were over the moon
because
with it.
already I know I know whenever I make for our e-commerce brand, when we make a big order that can be flown in,
Mm.
I know it says on the like you get like different prices. So if the things we're ordering is less than maybe 30 40 kilo, we always
Mm.
choose like air if we need it now. But if we're ordering,
Right.
like, let's say, like maybe in a month or so, we're gonna start ordering things for like Christmas, and we'll use, I think they call it rod and rail.
Right.
So it goes through the road in trucks, and then it gets in part in rail, but that's usually
Mm.
UPS that does this. FedEx that
Mm.
does the air one. UPS does the ground,
Right.
and then
Right.
also UPS does the sea. So what they
Okay.
do is it goes trucks. In some parts it goes like ships, so the trucks goes into the ferries and stuff. Then
Mm.
crossover also goes
Mm.
trucks or rail. I remember whenever there was that snow in Europe last year I know this because I had some things we needed to showcase at the NEC for the exhibition. They were
Mm.
delayed in Kazakhstan because there was snow in Kazakhstan. So
Okay.
I think this link they're creating
Bypasses
because
all of
these
that.
guys make things fast.
Oh yeah.
Like you can send them designs like and be like, I want this. Like within a day they come back to you and they'll be like, here is the video of the things designed, made, and like it's done.
Mm.
So
Just give us a number
I
and we'll
think it'll
make.
be difficult for most to compete. But last year I also heard the counter, which I think it now it's gonna be a counter, but it wasn't gonna be a counter back then because Shein wasn't really there when I heard about it.
Mm.
That Amazon was planning to have Amazon cruise lines between China, Europe,
I heard
China,
this.
United States,
Yes, I heard
China,
this. I heard
Australia.
this. Uh huh.
Man, if they do that,
The game's over for
I
everyone.
don't know why anybody would really run a business in manufacturing things
The
here
game is over. Yeah,
because
absolutely.
the game is over if they do that.
Yeah,
Because
absolutely.
see, all these third-party sellers would just get their things made in China, take them to whatever Guangzhou or something like that, get their things
Mm-hmm.
into the Amazon liner. So from there, they're already cataloged in to the system.
In
They're already with
Amazon.
Amazon.
Yeah.
Because even right now, like I'll tell you another number, which Amazon is serious. You see, if we are sending products to Amazon, right? If we're sending, do you know, like if we're sending like a 20 kilo or no, I think up to 15 kgs, it's classified as not heavy. When it's more than 15 kgs, you have to put a sign that say heavy. I think 15
Right.
to 30 kgs. So, do you know for each box weighing, let's say, average 15 kgs of, depends on your size of product, like 15 kgs going to Amazon via UPS. Do you know how much they charge? Actually, before you answer that, I'll give you the price for small parcel in UK via Royal Mail. It's £3.15 first class, right?
Okay.
And that's up to I think 2 kgs.
And it's a
And the
regular
box
small
is
parcel.
small. It's a regular small parcel, and that's £3.15. Do you know how much UPS charges for the 15 kg box to do Amazon?
Right.
About £3.73.
I was on this something.
Here's the thing: if you go on UPS, and you try to buy that shipment to the same location, it's probably like £15.
Yeah.
Here's what Amazon is doing. So Amazon is because they have the partnership. So Amazon pays most of the fee
for you to send the product
for you to send the product to them. But it's catch whatever. They know when the product gets to Amazon, now they have storage fees, you pay them fees, you're selling on their platform. And it means if you were selling somewhere else, you'd rather sell on Amazon.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because if you sell, like, let's say, very small products, let's say you sell chargers, in that box, you can fit in maybe a couple thousand chargers in there.
Right.
If you were to ship them yourself via Royal Mail, when someone buys, you have to pay, if it's a large letter, you have to pay maybe first class £1.60. If it's a parcel, first class £3 something. And then you have to get packaging, which is not cheap.
On top of that. Yeah.
On top of that, right? And then you probably have to pay someone to do your shipping. Because if you're selling, let's say, 100 products a day, someone has to go through the picking list and do the shipping, everything. With Amazon, if you sell a product, hypothetically speaking, for £10, Amazon FBA charge, if that product is like maybe like a charger, so it's classified as small and light in Amazon. Amazon will charge you no more than £3 to store, fulfill, ship it to the customer. That same product.
All right,
you can
my phone, my camera's about to die, so let's finish it there. But that's
all
good.
good.
No one can compete. No one can compete with Amazon. Man.
You can't compete, man. So I think we have to join them.
Yeah, absolutely.
We have to join them and build your businesses there.
Yeah,
so their game is slick. Man, get well soon with your code in summer.
I appreciate it. Well, it goes.
Who gets a code in summer?
English weather. Well, English summer is just like the winter, so it's no different really. But no, that's a good episode.
That's a good episode. So that's a pod, people. See you in the next one.
Peace. See you in the next one.
Peace.